André Rieu was born on October 1st, 1949, in Maastricht, the Netherlands, into a household where music was constant, but emotional warmth was scarce. His father, a respected conductor, believed deeply in discipline, precision, and order, while his mother maintained a reserved, structured presence that left little room for open affection. Growing up in post-war Europe, André learned early that expectations mattered more than feelings, and achievement often replaced comfort. The home echoed with rehearsals and formal instruction, yet silence filled the spaces where reassurance might have lived. At the age of 6, André was given a violin, and what began as training quickly became refuge. The instrument offered him expression without judgment and companionship without conditions. Long hours of solitary practice filled his childhood, shaping extraordinary discipline while quietly planting emotional weight that would follow him into adulthood. Expassundivend, discovering a voice through music. As André grew older, the violin evolved from an assignment into a personal language. Where conversation felt constrained, music allowed him freedom. Each note became an emotional release, each melody a way to communicate what words could not. His childhood lacked rebellion, but it was rich in quiet endurance. Practicing for hours each day, André absorbed technique, control, and musical tradition. Yet he also sensed something missing in the classical world around him. Music felt beautiful, but distant. He longed for warmth, joy, and connection, elements rarely emphasized in his formal training. This internal conflict shaped his identity as both a musician and a human being. While others pursued technical perfection alone, André began to imagine concerts where people smiled, laughed, and felt united. That dream, born quietly in childhood, would later redefine his entire career and challenge classical music traditions worldwide. It spores education and resistance to convention. In the late 1960s, André entered the Royal Conservatory of Brussels, expecting inspiration but encountering rigidity instead. The environment prized technical flawlessness above emotional expression, and innovation was often discouraged. Teachers questioned his desire to make classical music joyful and accessible, viewing it as unserious or commercially naive. André listened respectfully, but held his vision close, refusing to abandon the belief that music should connect with people, not intimidate them. These years were marked by internal tension, discipline on the surface, quiet resistance underneath. Though he mastered technique, he felt increasingly disconnected from the formal classical world. Yet this frustration sharpened his resolve. Rather than breaking him, the conservatory years clarified what kind of musician he did not want to be. André left with skill, confidence, and a growing determination to reshape classical music on his own terms. Yadimu building freedom from the ground up. In 1978, André Rieu made a risky decision that would alter his life permanently. With little financial security and minimal support, he founded the Maastricht Salon Orchestra. Performances took place in small venues, sometimes for modest audiences, but the atmosphere was alive with warmth and shared emotion. For the first time, André experienced creative freedom. Music was no longer confined to formality. It breathed, laughed, and welcomed listeners. By his side was Marjorie, the woman who believed in his vision when few others did. Their partnership became the emotional foundation André had long lacked. Choosing this path cost him approval from traditional circles, but it gave him ownership of his future. Every performance reaffirmed that music could heal, uplift, and unite, not only audiences, but the musician himself. This period marked the transformation from trained violinist to artistic visionary. Turning struggle into a new sound. The years that followed were difficult, marked by financial strain, exhaustion, and constant uncertainty. André worked relentlessly, rehearsing by day and planning logistics by night, often counting coins to keep the orchestra alive. Yet these hardships refined his purpose. He learned to transform pressure into creativity and fear into focus. In 1987, he founded the Johann Strauss Orchestra with just 12 musicians, openly embracing waltzes and romantic melodies that critics dismissed as outdated. André believed joy had its own power. Slowly, audiences responded. His concerts felt less like formal recitals and more like shared celebrations. Every note carried sincerity, and every performance reflected lived experience. Rather than chasing acceptance, André built something authentic. The orchestra grew not through prestige, but through trust, resilience, and a shared belief that music should touch the heart before impressing the mind. Manus. Global breakthrough and new pressures. By the mid-1990s, André Rieu's perseverance reached a turning point. A high-profile performance at a major international event introduced his music to millions, transforming him from a regional success into a global phenomenon. Concert halls expanded into stadiums, albums topped charts, and his orchestra grew into an international family. Yet, fame brought new challenges. Constant travel, endless performances, and managerial responsibility weighed heavily on him. Behind the joyful image audiences adored was a man balancing exhaustion with obligation. André protected his musicians fiercely, ensuring stability, care, and continuity even during financial strain. Leadership became both honor and burden. Still, he refused to compromise his vision. Music remained joyful, accessible, and human, even as the scale grew. Success did not erase struggle, it reshaped it, demanding endurance equal to the passion that had carried him this far. Instruments and sanctuary. Among André Rieu's most meaningful companions are his historic violins and the centuries-old castle in Maastricht that he calls home. These are not symbols of wealth, but vessels of memory and continuity. The castle became a sanctuary, a place where silence healed rather than haunted. Within its walls, André found balance between creativity and rest, reflection and renewal. Each violin carries generations of history, reminding him that music exists beyond individual success. In these spaces, André reconnects with purpose away from constant applause. Gardens, rehearsal rooms, and quiet corridors offer grounding after years of motion. Here, music becomes intimate again, stripped of spectacle. These physical anchors allow André to remain emotionally present, reminding him why he began this journey: to create beauty, not chase validation, and to let music remain a source of peace rather than pressure. Loss, health, and quiet strength life continued to test André beyond the stage. The loss of close collaborators and friends brought grief that no performance could erase. Rather than speak publicly, he honored them through subtle musical pauses and reflective moments woven into concerts. Later, health challenges affected his balance and stamina, forcing him to slow down and rebuild patiently. Practice became careful negotiation rather than routine. Through it all, family support proved essential. Marjorie's steadiness and his son, Pierre's guidance helped him protect both his health and legacy. These challenges reshaped his relationship with music. It became less about endurance and more about intention. Each performance was chosen, not demanded. André demonstrated that resilience is not loud or dramatic, but steady, quiet, and deeply human, forged through acceptance rather than resistance. A legacy, defined by endurance and joy. Even in his 70s, André Rieu continues to perform with depth shaped by experience. His music carries the imprint of discipline, struggle, love, and renewal. Audiences sense not perfection, but authenticity. His legacy is not measured by records sold or stadiums filled, but by the emotional refuge his concerts provide. From a childhood marked by silence to a life devoted to shared joy, André transformed personal hardship into universal beauty. His story reminds us that greatness is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to shape it into something meaningful. Each waltz, each melody, is an invitation to feel, to remember, and to connect. In the end, André Rieu's music endures because it is rooted in humanity, resilience, and the unwavering belief that joy itself is worth protecting.